We'll do the things we love again. We'll hang out with friends. We'll put our screens away and be amazed by what's been waiting for us. We'll dance and eat and laugh again. We'll look in our own backyard and find that it is full of wonders. There will be adventures and art. We will stand in the sunshine and we will be free. Where will you go first?
Seeing the fish, their position, and how they respond in real time. That's game changing.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Fish East Live. I'm your host, Don Patterson, and once again, we're looking forward to an exciting show, and I guess in the words of Mike Iaconelli, a game-changing show. Sonar is the game, and our guest tonight is going to bring us up to date on a lot of what's new in the sonar world, and hopefully give us a little bit of education so we can all become better anglers and do more catching and less just fishing. So, but before we bring on our guest, we've got to bring on our co-host. He's was under the weather 2 weeks ago when we wrapped up our series for the Maritime Boating and Outdoors Digital Marketplace, but I'm happy to have him join me once again, Mr. Matt Zito.
Hey, Donnie.
How you doing, my friend?
Oh, a lot better this time around.
Well, that's good. That's good. It was kind of a weird thing to have to fly the ship solo. So, it's
well, you did a great job. You did a great job. I watched it the day after. You did just fine, Donnie. Great job.
And you still got your obligatory fish taco shot.
Yeah. Yes, I saw that. That made my night. That made my day.
That's good. So I'm hoping what we have to talk about is going to make your night, because I know I've had a chance, with tournament fishing, fishing with friends, a couple different boats, and with filming Fish East, I've had a chance to work with a couple different sonars. I actually, the three major brands, I've had experience with them all. And I was literally sitting here watching that little teaser reel, and I was sitting here grinning. I mean, I'm sitting in the room alone, other than, my dog over here to my left. And I'm sitting here watching this thinking, man, I need to get on a boat that has this. And, I got a feeling you're thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I'm going to be the first to admit I am not a sonar aficionado. Like, I don't know much about sonars. I just watched that little blurb, the intro, and I was just like, I was saying, I'm pretty sure my mouth was just open the whole time. Like, oh my God, these things exist. Like, that is nuts. So I'm looking forward to this one, because I have so many questions, and I'm just like so excited to kind of see all the like what's available, out there, and just kind of more about it. Because like I said, I have a simple little sonar that I use, and it works for me. But I mean, I know there's way better ones out there with just crazy technology now, so I'm pumped to talk about it.
I mean, you guide, Matt, so imagine being able to take your clients out and say, oh, I don't think there are fish here. Look at that screen. There they are swimming. Now it's your job to catch them. So
yeah, I've I got a few systems in mind where that would come in handy.
yeah,
Yeah, I might have liked that unit there on the intro the last week that I've spent on the Stewiacke. It would have been pretty cool, but
well, especially somewhere like the Stewiacke where you know you're not going to be sight fishing.
Not often, not unless you get into really shallow water and you can kind of see the ripples. But other than that, yeah, you're not seeing anything.
Oh, sorry, just had a pop up on my screen that I had to deal with because if I was scared, I clicked the wrong thing and get disconnected. So, the joys of technology. But no, the technology has come a long ways, and I think it's time to bring on someone who knows a whole lot more about it than either one of us or the two of us combined. So, joining us this evening from Lowrance Canada, and I'm not going to say his official title because I know I'll screw it up, so I'll ask him to do that when he joins us. Mr. Marc Alain.
Hey guys.
Good evening, Marc. How are you?
Hey, Don.
Good evening.
Good. Thanks for having me.
So I didn't screw it up, Marc. I figured I'd leave it for you. What is your official title with Lowrance Canada?
It's the Regional Territory Sales Manager, and it's for Eastern Canada. So I cover Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes.
Perfect. So I want to first off thank you for joining us, Marc. Over the last, I guess this is episode 20 since we started Fish East Live, we've done a lot of stuff, tourism-based, local guides, local tackle producers, but we haven't done a lot from a technical aspect of fishing, and we felt it was good. We wrapped up a special series here a couple weeks ago, and we think, we want to dip our toes a little more into the technical aspects and get more people making the most out of their fishing trips. And let's face it, sonar is a tool that pretty much every angler fishing from a boat has equipped themselves with in one form or another. Not everyone, obviously, but a vast majority. So we figured, what better way to start than with something that so many of us are using? So, Lowrance has definitely been a leader in the world of sonar and fish finder technology for a number of years now. And over the last couple of years, other companies, one in particular, which I'm not going to name because we're here to talk about you and what you want to tell us about, has made some major leaps and bounds. So what has Lowrance done to stay at the forefront in fishing electronics?
Yeah, so Don, you're right. Lowrance has had a great legacy, in the 2D sonar world. We've always been renowned for our great sonar modules in our units and that. And so it was only acceptable to come up with, new and better versions of existing technologies and even some new proprietary ones as well. So, if I start maybe a couple of years ago, 3 years actually, we came out with everybody was, structure scan this, structure scan that, and we had total scan and we had a few transducers, but it wasn't to par. So we came out with the active imaging 3-in-1 transducers, and they were introduced, providing the highest resolution out there. It's basically the materials that we use that make the big difference, and it gives us that really good HD image. So, and with one transducer, you get side scan, down scan, you get chirp sonar, you get all in dual frequency, and that was the first game changer we had, because now you only put one transducer on the back of your boat and you're getting crystal clear images with it. So we went a step further then, and we came out with a fish reveal. And fish reveal is a proprietary feature to Lowrance, and what it does is it takes the arches from the 2D sonar and it overlays them on the structure scan. So I mean, now guys, instead of having to interpret density signatures, red, blue, orange, what am I looking at? You think it's a brush pile and really it's only a weak clump or stuff like that. Now you stick it in down scan and you see the twigs on the brush pile and you see the arches of the fish in between. It's kind of unfair to the fish, but definitely a big game changer. And so, that's what we did. And then we started getting into the live sonar, which was the passion, our competition. They were pushing really hard on that. And we had live sight transducer, which was the first version of our live sonar, but it was giving it in a traditional cone fashion. And then Active Target was born, and that's the new kid on the block. It's taken the fishing world totally by storm. Production is out of this world. The numbers would baffle you. But, a huge number of BASS guys, FLW guys, Major League Fishing guys in the US and, on the bass tours, they've all switched over to Lowrance. Not all, but I mean, a huge number of them. And it's because of the clarity of that transducer. So, we did that, and then we figured, let's keep on going. We did an Elite FS, which is our mid-range unit, and its FS stands for fishing system. And, basically, it has almost all the same capabilities as these guys that I got here on the boat, HDS Live. Solar Max touchscreens, full networking capabilities, waypoints, trolling motor control, charts, you name it. It can even be linked with an HDS, which is a nice economical option. And I mentioned charts, so we have CMAP, which is a division of Navico as well. And CMAP, we now have Canadian inland lakes and coastal. That's a big game changer for us as well. Even some of our units come out with them built in. So you buy the unit, you don't even have to go buy a chart. It's already loaded into the unit for you. So as though that wasn't enough, we decided that we take our entry-level series and load it up with some new technology and features. So things like fish reveal is now available on the hook reveal, which is entry-level, really cost-efficient, Genesis, sonar mapping, like all of those things. So, you don't have to break the bank necessarily to get all of these great features and technology. So that's basically, in a nutshell. You take a basic unit like that, you just follow your charts and fish, and you don't have to worry about it because it was designed to run in auto mode. So, that's the thing. That's basically what we have going on right now. When you talk about new technologies, we've got a ton of new product releases into the market.
So,
Yeah.
Matt, any idea where to go from there? Because that was a lot of information in a very short period of time.
It was just an overview.
I'm just trying to take it all in. Like I said, I need to learn more about these things. So I'm just trying to soak it in like a sponge. I just can't help but look at the setup you got there. You mind giving us a little tour of what you got going on there?
Sure. Well, I'm sitting in the bass boat here in the garage. It's kind of hot actually, but yeah, so this is my rig. I fish a lot of tournaments, and obviously being with Lowrance, I'm pretty lucky to have, the best of everything. I've got the Ghost going on here. I've got 2 units on the front. That front one is a 12-inch unit. I know it looks small, but that's because the other one's a 16-inch unit. And over here at the helm where I'm sitting, I've got 2 HDS 12s going on, and all of them get used. There's no waste. I mean, the kind of fishing that we do a lot of run and gun. We do a lot of searching when we practice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a lot like your striper guys, the same thing. You'll be scouting for fish, and you can mark them all as you're going down the water and come back to them later. And, so everything has its purpose. Like, some of these things I have engine integration. We're all about integration. Mercury vessel view, so it controls my Mercury 4-stroke that I got on the back of this thing, so I can see my gauges, my water pressure, my heat. This is all connected through our NEMA 2000 network on our units. So that's the thing. That's the rig. That's the setup, and basically that's the theme that Lowrance has. Is we're all about integration. We want everything to be a fishing system and everything to talk with each other.
That's
I have no words. I have no words. I mean,
sorry, Matt.
No, I didn't even know boats like that existed. I feel like I woke up in the future. This is nuts. Wow, amazing. What were the 2 units on the front? I know you said you had 12 and 16 inch. I didn't catch the name of those units up front.
These are all HDS Live units. So these are basically
okay.
they're the top of the food chain in Lowrance. They're the biggest, baddest that we have. They do everything that we're capable of doing, without exception. But I mean, that's maybe something we can talk about. I know that like Don and I were talking about, what kind of options do we offer for budget wise for people? Because not everybody can break the bank on large units. But I mean, that's the beauty. We have our hook reveal and we have our Elite FS. So the Elite FS, the big thing with that is it does the active target live sonar. It has that capability. It has the Solar Max screens. I mean, on our units, you can plug a video camera and put your polarized sunglasses on it, stand sideways, and you'll see what's going on. It's not like looking at an iPhone, So that's, you're talking about entry level, huge features, but the cost is way lower than the HDS because obviously there's different things going on, smaller processor. So you don't need as much real estate in a unit. You don't need as much memory and a bunch of stuff like that. So, and then we have the hook reveal. And as I explained earlier, the hook reveal has a ton of features as well, but it's a push button unit. So it's not a touchscreen, and that saves costs as well. So, I mean, you can get yourself into a nice hook reveal unit for, $299, and they can go up to $999. It all depends on what you get for transducers and features on it.
Now, Mark, we're talking about budgets, and we have a question from a viewer. Damon Walsh is asking, what's the lowest costing Lowrance with side scan? So which unit would he have to look at?
He could look at the hook reveal. The hook reveal comes in what we call bullet, which is a regular 2D transducer. It comes in split shot, which gives you down scan and 2D sonar, and the triple shot. And the triple shot has side scan, down scan, and 2D sonar. And you're looking at about maybe $300 for, a 5-inch unit that's triple shot. And it will go up, depending on what you get. If you want to get a 9-inch screen or something like that, you're maybe looking at about $799 or something.
That's for a, the triple shot, as you call it. That's, $800 for a 9-inch screen. I think that's definitely a respectable price point.
Price point wise, like that was our goal with the hook. We wanted to add those features, but not add too much on the price. And I think that was mission accomplished. I mean, all of our hook reveal users are super happy with them. They're simple to use. You stick them in automatic mode is where they run the best, but you have the capability of going in there and tweaking your settings.
Well, so what? How big is the screen? You said that it can go up to 9-inch. How big is the? Like, does it go? What am I trying to say here? What's the smallest screen? Like you said, there was one about $300. How big is that screen?
In the hook reveal series for around $300 or $299 or something, it's you can get a 5-inch screen, and then the sizes in the hook series is 5, 7, and 9.
So 9's your biggest in the hook. So I mean, you're talking not only lower price; they are maybe a little smaller profile. But, these are units that you can use, small boats like John boats, maybe kayaks.
And you know what, Don, the beauty of those units too is they come in an outdoor pack if you want them. Comes with a nice bag, the battery. So two transducers. It's got the ice transducer for the wintertime. It's got the regular transducer with a suction cup that you can put on your John boat when you're wanting to go out in the woods or go camping or go out with your family to a reservoir or something like that.
Nice. So really a really versatile unit for a reasonable price for an entry point in particular. I mean, let's face it, it's no different than anything. The rods I've got in my garage now are way more expensive than the ones I started with. It's the same as anything else. Over time, you're probably going to get bitten by that bug and want to upgrade, but you've got a starting point that does a lot.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at the screenshot that we got up there on the hook reveals, you can see that, once you get into 7 and 9 like that, you can do split screens on the 5 as well, but you have a little bit less real estate to look at your screens. But if you look at that 7-inch, you can do a nice, comfortable 4-way split and have your chart up there, your sonar up there, your fish reveal if you want, or your side scan, whatever you want to look at.
Excuse me. Now, did these units, or I guess at what point would we find the units that will do custom mapping? Because let's face it, here on the East Coast in particular, there's a lot of lakes that have not been mapped. They're, not easily accessible. So,
that's a great question because Hook Reveal will do it. It does what it's called Genesis Live, and it's live sonar mapping. The beauty about our live sonar mapping is it's free. All you need to do is insert an SD card in there, and you can go ahead and sonar map your lake. Sorry, that's the French in me, your lac. But you can sonar map your lake, and it's on your chip. You don't have to upload it or anything like that. It's private information. You don't have to share it with anybody. That's kind of a neat feature, but all of our units do it.
Now, are those maps shareable though? If I wanted to, is there a network I can share them within, or can I give my buddy my SD card and he can?
Yeah, sure. If he's running the Lowrance unit, it's going to read it, no problem. Other than that, we have our Genesis Live website where you can get a subscription and you can get into sharing. There's biomaps. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And there's a lot of stuff going on with the CMAP as well. It gives you features, like the CMAP reveal card will allow you to do shaded relief. So if you're fishing patterns, for an example, on your stripers, or if you're into muskie and they're between 4 and 12 feet, you can go ahead and change the color of the shading for that region for the day, and just say you make it red, just stay in the red all day long. It does 3D submerged islands, things like that, all kinds of features, satellite imaging, so you can overlay the satellite on your contours. All of the units do structure mapping, so when you're going down and you're looking at your maps and your contours, you can overlay the structure. So in other words, you're looking at your contour line, and now instead of imagining what's under there, and is there a drop, a cut, you can actually see what's under there with your structure.
Okay, Matt, I think I figured out how this is going to have to work. Once we things start opening up a little more and Mark can travel, he's going to need to bring that boat to the East Coast and take you and I out and show us how all this stuff works. I think it's only fair.
Absolutely.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So
my boat needs to get down to the East Coast, so that's cool.
Yeah, I think it definitely needs to happen. And, if we keep going down the path we're going, hopefully sooner rather than later, Mark. So
Absolutely.
Now you gave an awful good rundown of new technology, new releases, a real good overview of stuff. And I know you did this on purpose. Maybe you didn't want to scare people with a ghost story. But I have to guess at this point in your life, you believe in ghosts?
I really believe in ghosts. I used to be afraid of them, but now I'm in love with them. I have to admit, I could not imagine going out there without a ghost. So yeah, definitely. Ghost is a big game changer for us here at Lowrance. It's a big game changer for anyone who's ever used one. It's so packed with so many features, and we've got guys in our product expert. Our Lowrance product manager is Lucas Stewart, and he's a fisherman, and we've got a bunch of fishing guys. And we looked at motors that were out there, and basically we said, what can we do to make them better, right? What's out there that's bugging us, and let's fix it. So we came out with this motor. It's a brushless motor. What does that mean? It means a lot of things. It means that there's no static, so you're getting crystal clear sonar images with no interference. It means you can run that motor on 24 volt or 36 volt just by adding or removing a battery. If you want to sell your boat, and no more dilemma about, I'll have to buy another motor. If you get a smaller boat, you can bring it down to 24. I mean, it's got a bunch of stuff like that, built-in sonar. It's got side scan, down scan available. It comes out with down scan and regular 2D sonar. It's got interchangeable. How about I just show you some of this stuff? What do you think?
I think that'd be a great idea.
Yep.
Okay, because I want to talk about this pedal and a bunch of stuff here. Let me just grab this camera. We'll head out to the front.
Matt, you've got your pen and your paper. You're making your shopping list that we can talk to Mark about once we get off the air.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So let me start up here at the front, right? So you see that GPS is a dedicated GPS antenna, because all of our ghosts come with spot lock. I want to mention that the big thing about a ghost is you don't have a whole lot of skews. You basically have one skew per length. So if you've got a 47 inch, you got one skew. If you've got a 52 inch, you got another skew. If you've got a 60 inch for big water, it's another skew, because they all run 24 and 36, and they basically do everything that they can do. So, it's got its own puck here. I was talking about having side scan. So this is the 3-in-1 transducer, but for the motor. And the beauty about this is, if you look at the end here, can you see that nut?
Yep.
Okay, so
yeah,
6 millimeter Allen key. Let's say you bang your transducer, or you want to upgrade, or you have an issue. You just pop that nut out, pop the nose cone off, unplug the wire, replug the wire, and put your new one on, and you're done. None of this pulling wires through the shaft and all that kind of stuff when you have to change the transducer, which was a nightmare, right? So it's got dual assist shock. So basically it's 2 fingers to raise this motor and let it go into the wire. I can't do it here in the garage, but it's super, super, super easy. Another nice feature about the Ghost is right here, that's the only thing that turns. This head does not move. So you've got none of those issues. Yes, you can see the wires fixed, right? So you don't have issues with this whole head turning and wires wrapping around it like that. Basically, this is the only thing you'll see turn on there. Then I get to the part that I like the best, the pedal. So the pedal, if you're a motor guide user, you're used to your button being on the left. If you're a Minn Kota user, or I think it's the other way around, but Minn Kota user, it's on the right. With the Ghost, all you need to do is remove this nameplate here. You've got 1 screw. You can reverse these so that the button can be switched either side. This is an electric steer motor, but there is a feedback on the pedal. So it feels like a cable motor and it keeps you connected with it, right? So that's another nice feature. It's super smooth. You never get pushback on your foot. So when you're spending long days out on the water, you won't get that cramp. Anybody who spent long days on a trolling motor, cable motor, they know what I mean. You get a cramp at nighttime, especially beginning of the season. Another nice thing, you've got your spot lock button here. Basically, these 3 buttons, they're all programmable. So you can come up here to your unit and you can say, I want to mark waypoints with this button. So while you're fishing, let's say you hook on to a huge striper, it's in an area you want to keep, your hands are free. All you need to do is come here and push this button and you mark your waypoint. The other thing for tournament guys, a lot of guys give away stuff when they're bending over, touching their screen to do a waypoint. Now you can do it super discreetly. So you can control power pulls here. You can do a lot of stuff. I mean, there's about 10 different features that you can program into these guys. So in a nutshell, that's the Ghost. It's whisper quiet, super efficient. It's like 60% more efficient than a brushed motor. So think about that. If you're used to heading out on the water and spending, 10 hours, let's say, with your batteries before you have to charge, well, with a Ghost, you can do 16 hours, basically. That's, in a nutshell. I could go on and on and on. I don't want to bore people either with, on one subject, but that's the Ghost. And basically, through
Did we?
Yeah, we lost his audio.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure, Mark. I don't know if you can hear us, but we've lost your audio. I was starting to think it was me for a second, but so if we can maybe bump Mark backstage and try and get his audio sorted out while Matt and I sit here and scratch our heads. And folks, if you're home watching and you have any questions, please feel free to throw them up in the comments. I knew a little bit about some of these developments. I didn't know as much. Apparently, I didn't know as much as I thought I knew, because it's pretty incredible. I mean, I've worked with a couple of the older versions of Lowrance HDS units, and they were good. Don't get me wrong, they were good, but seeing what the hook, which is basically the introductory level units, are now compared to what I worked with on or some of the original HDS units, and it's just kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, I was glad Damon asked that question, because I was actually sitting in my boat yesterday just thinking how amazing it would be to have a side imaging sonar, just like for the Stewiacke, but I mean in general everywhere. And I'm just thinking like, oh my god, like I'll never be able to afford one of those. Like those things are probably well over $1,000. So when he said 300, like right away I was like trying to like look down at my phone, like okay, where could I get one?
Yeah,
but that's like this is why I look forward to this show, because I mean like I said, I don't know much about the units. I know about some of them because you guys have talked about some just in conversation when we were fishing together.
Yep.
But it's amazing. And that ghost trolling motor, like I think I saw that when the last time I was at ICAST. I think it was 2019. It was just launching, and I remember looking at it. I was like, "That's a trolling motor! Like that thing is nuts! Like that thing's got sonar and everything." I'm pretty sure it was the same one. So it's amazing the advances. Yeah, we got you.
We were just kind of trying to get our bearings, Mark.
All right.
After you're definitely getting our heads spinning, and
Had a technical kerfuffle there.
That happens. So, so we've touched on the ghost, which, like I said, I know you intentionally left that out. And I will say this is the first time, I guess, if you can call this a close-up look at it. I mean, I've seen some videos and whatnot, but when you see someone hands-on with it a little more, how do I put this? A little less produced than, say, a promotional video, then you get an idea as to just how easy something is to work with, and how user-friendly it really is. And I'd say that you guys really hit the mark.
It's a great tool, and I mean, it's so integrated with the system. You can drive the thing from the pedal. You can drive it with the remote. You can drive it directly from the unit. So if you're deciding what your next move is, but you need to get across to that bay, you can hit the waypoint or hit a cursor, and it'll say go to cursor. You hit yes, and the motor goes there. It's like having another guy in the boat with you for you. So nice. It's really good that way. And I think you wanted to maybe talk a bit about active target, right?
We definitely want to touch on that. Before we do, you say it's 24 and 36 volt. I just kind of want to wrap up on the ghost a little bit so we don't have to circle back. Yeah. But when you're actually trolling right straight ahead, you say it's quiet. What kind of thrust is it running? Straight, like so how powerful is it, so guys can compare to existing motors?
Sure. Yeah, at 36 volt you've got 120 pounds of thrust, which is a lot. Where it's really a lot is at 24 volts you got 97 pounds of thrust. So your typical 24 volt motor is going to be running at 80 max. So for 24 volts at 97 pounds, if you're running a smaller boat, you're going to be water skiing behind the boat, basically. So it's got a lot of torque, and 120 pounds is good. I mean, this is a big heavy boat, it's full loaded and there's a lot of weight here, and I typically can scoot along at 3.9 miles an hour, no problem.
That's not bad for a trolling motor at all. I don't think I'll try water skiing at that speed, but then again, let's face it, I'm not going to try water skiing at all. Now, and you say you can hit one waypoint and the trolling motor is going to take you there. Can you plan a route, maybe 2, 3, 4 waypoints in sequence?
Yes. Absolutely. There's a lot of different things. You can follow contour lines. You can do a breadcrumb trail. So if you want to put in 10 different waypoints, you're running a bay and you got specific areas you want to hit, you can connect the dots. You can, run a shoreline. Let's say, okay, I'm throwing for muskie and I'm doing the shallow part of the bay, and you can go from one side of the bay. You just hit a cursor and it'll say go to cursor, and it'll ask you if you want to engage the autopilot. You just answer yes, and boom, you're good to go. It'll take you there, and then you just set it at whatever speed you want it to be at, and you don't worry about that. You just fish.
God. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Autopilot.
That is like having an extra person in the boat.
It really is. I mean, it changes the way you practice. It's efficient. A lot of times if I need to retie stuff or something like that, I'll just, I want it to go over there, so I'll just hit it. I'll let it go while I'm retying. So, it's saving me a lot of time. When I get to where I need to be, whatever I was retying, I'm ready to go, and away we go. I mean, obviously, maybe for some people, it doesn't really matter that much, but if guys are chasing fish or hunting fish, as we like to say, you don't want to waste too much time. Well, it's going to help you with that. The spot lock is phenomenal. It's so smooth. It's unbelievable. I mean, here in Lake St. Francis, we're on the St. Lawrence, and we have areas where we have double currents coming in. And my first test with the Ghost was I went to a spot where traditionally I would put my trails on, and 25 minutes later I had spaghetti all over the screen trying to stay in that spot because of all the currents. And then if the wind gets involved, it's even worse. This guy, 25 minutes later, you have to zoom in and you don't even see any of that spaghetti. The software for the spot lock is out of this world. and it's smooth, because when you come up to a waypoint and you say go to waypoint and you hit spot lock, it'll actually bring you up and slow down and then lock onto that spot, rather than pass it, kind of work its way back and, you know, sometimes violently want to throw you in the water. It doesn't do that.
Yes, I may have experienced that sensation once or twice before, and I will admit I don't care for it. So, so minimal movement while on spot lock, and when you move up to a new point, it kind of eases you to a nice gentle stop.
Absolutely. It's pretty, it's hard. I mean, I can talk about it all day long, but if I do get down there, I mean, when you actually feel this happen, it's really surprising. You're just like, oh my God, it's so smooth and it's so quiet. I mean, if you're running like on 3 or on 4 at the beginning, I used to look over to make sure that prop was turning. You can't hear anything. It's super quiet.
That would take some getting used to, because normally you do hear it turning and you're like, is it working or not? But I know that's a risk I'm willing to take. That's an adaptation I'm sure I could make. So
my power poles have basically been retired. I don't use them hardly at all.
They look pretty.
They look good. That is a nice thing. I will say this, on windy days, if you spot lock with your motor and you put your power poles down, you're rock solid. You're not even going to move an inch. It is amazing. It just holds you there.
Yeah, no, and that's just it. And I mean, that's why you invest in these tools, is because they are tools and you let them work together.
For sure.
So, and so you started to circle back a little bit to active target. Why don't you tell us a little more in depth?
So in depth, the active target, as we discussed earlier, that was, you know, our competition came out with a really good product, and we wanted to make a good product, and we made a few little tweaks and changes. And I think, you know, we've got some video screenshots of some of the images that you can get out of that. It's pretty amazing. The resolution is really high, but it's a different kind of technology. So, you know, it's basically like if you go see whether you're going to have a boy or a girl and you have your echo sound done, it's kind of that kind of a technology, but rather than being in a cone now, it's kind of like a wedge. You can use it in 3 different modes. You can use it in a down mode, which is pretty cool because it actually does about 5 degrees underneath the nose of your boat. That's kind of nice too. Then you use it in a forward mode. And so in those modes, you're basically going to see everything. You're going to see your jig moving. You're going to see the fish coming up to it. You're going to be frustrated some days because they'll come up to it and you'll be setting the hook for nothing, because you have to learn to be patient. And a lot of times where I think it shines is it's going to help you make those decisions. You know, do I go bigger, smaller, different color, or do I just need to move because these fish aren't on fire, right? So that's a big game changer as far as catching goes, because you talked about fishing and catching. So it's going to prevent you from fishing a lot. Basically, you can run by, mark your fish on your 2D sonar, and then come back with your active target, and you'll see them swimming around. And I mean, you're going to see dorsals and tails and everything, and you're going to see them moving up to your jig, and sometimes they just won't go. So time to move, right? And then the next feature, which is really good for your striper guys, and you know, a lot of the trout guys as well. I mean, you're suspending fish. We use this for smallmouth bass, you know, in the lakes where we have water columns and it's hot in the summertime. They like to hug down to that water column. You know, that scout mode shines. So, you know, once again, I'll take you to the front of the boat and I'll show you real quick, if you don't mind.
No, please.
No, absolutely.
Hopefully we won't disconnect this time.
Oh.
So yeah, so basically, can you see that okay there?
Yep.
So that's the transducer in itself, right? It's nice, it's compact, it's not too large. And when you're running it in down, it's basically facing down. You know, it's pretty simple. And then when you're running it in the forward mode, it's like that. But when you're in a scout mode, it's turned this way. So, you know, there is a little bit of a learning curve to it because it's not what you're used to, having that nice umbrella, you know, umbrella kind of cone shaped sonar. It's a wedge, just like a wedge of cheese. And I mean, it can be mounted on your ghost trolling motor, or, you know, I use it on a separate setup here where I get to actually point it and it's not going to move around when I'm on spot lock. So a lot of guys like to do it that way. But that being said, it's a huge game changer when it comes to catching fish, because now you can see them react and how they react to bait, and it actually teaches you patience and things that you didn't know. We always say if you knew how many fish were down there, you'd go crazy. Well, now you actually get to see it,
and you will go crazy.
And you will. Yeah, some days you'll be super frustrated, but I mean that's just telling you something. You need to make a change, right? So that's part of the technology. It's helping you become a better fisherman.
Yeah, and I will admit, from using, it wasn't your system, but from using another system with, live imaging, you do make changes. You do recognize how the fish is reacting to what you're presenting. Are they shying away from it? Are they, what are they doing? And we had some time last year spent using another system, and, it was a great educational tool.
It really is. I mean, you don't know how the fish react to your bait until you actually see it. And the only way you can see it is see it live, right?
So Matt, you've got your pen and paper out, making your shopping list. Damon Walsh again. Is there a certain type of sonar better for different species? So if I'm fishing, stripers or smallmouth, or is there a certain perspective mode, I guess, front, scout, side?
Yeah, we have a lot of, I mean, if we're talking about live sonar, like I said, if you're fishing smallmouth bass or you're fishing for trout, or your stripers tend to suspend a lot, suspending fish, you're going to want to use that scout mode. I mean, for most things, forward mode is awesome because it's just ahead of you and that's doing it. But that being said, I'm not sure what the scope of his question was, but for different species, it's more of different conditions. So we have transducers, that run 50 kilohertz and 200 kilohertz. So your 50 kilohertz can take you super deep. So, I mean, if you're a guy fishing deep, you want a type of transducer that has 50 kilohertz, because otherwise you're just going to start losing signal because the echo waves are not bouncing back up because it just doesn't have that drive. So yeah, there's nuances in there, but a good dealer is going to help you out with that. He'll guide you down the right path. But yeah, we have transducers, tons of them. But the active imaging transducer 3-in-1 and the active target transducer, I mean, that's all you need, really, for most case scenarios, for most types of fishing as well. Just change your settings, and they're super easy to change. It's a touch of a button.
When you say 50 kilohertz for super deep, what are you defining as super deep?
Okay, so obviously, we have transducers that'll go 6,000 meters, and we're not talking about that. I'm talking about, 500-600 feet. You're good with 50 kilohertz. That's not going to be an issue. If you're running an 83 200 kilohertz, once you get to 300 feet in 83, you're starting to get to the limits. And of course, it always depends on the bottom. If you've got a hard bottom, then you can go a little bit deeper because it bounces back better. If you've got a soft bottom, well, then you're going to lose signal quicker. Yeah, it just absorbs it. It's like trying to get a return when you're in a bunch of weeds, right?
Oh, so many questions, Matt. I don't know about you.
What should I be? Sorry, what should I be using like kilohertz wise for like shallower water? Because we've been talking about
so when you're in
really
shallow,
deep.
yeah. So if you're in shallow water, I'm a big shallow guy. I love to fish bass on flats, right? Shallow flats. And I mean, if you guys are fishing any kind of shallow water, you want to be in 200 kilohertz. That's basically the way to be. If you're in 80, you're bringing that scope down, and your echo waves are being blasted down so much quicker that a lot of them don't get captured by the reception's just not there. They're bouncing off beside the transducer, and eventually you're getting 3 dots saying, "Hey, I can't see anything." Well, that's usually because you're pounding too hard on. You're in 83 kilohertz or in 50 when you should be in 200. So shallow, as a rule of thumb, the higher the number, the shallower the water. The lower the number, the deeper the water.
Oh, okay, very good.
It's
a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in, Donnie.
It is a lot.
It sure is.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I thought my little unit, I was still trying to work.
Well, that's why I appreciate Marc taking the time tonight to spend some time with us, and be patient with us, because God knows we need someone to almost take us by the hand and lead us through this, because I'll admit I don't know a lot. I've played with a bunch of them, but I don't know a lot. So now, I do know we had a comment.
Don, I'm going to say something about that. Sorry if I can just interrupt. You say you don't know a lot, but that's something that I think everybody, the listeners and users, need to know about this is, we've got great support out there. We've got, this new fisherman series of videos out there. We've got Jacob Scott on YouTube. If anybody is looking for questions on how to set things up, you just go to YouTube, you type in Jacob Scott, and he's got a video for just about everything under the sun when it comes to Lowrance. And the beauty about videos is you can just stop, rewind, and do it as he's doing it. So you're set up. There's a lot of support. We've got a Canadian tech support here in Canada, which is really awesome. You can call in when you're in front of your unit. They'll walk you through all those things. You won't have to wait 2 hours on the phone like, previously when we had US lines. And it's not their fault. It's just in the US, they're swamped and they're just so busy, and we're a little bit less busy. So we're able to get to our customers a little bit quicker. So there's a lot of support out there. But that being said, the best way to learn your unit is to push those buttons. You won't blow it up. It's not going to explode. You can just like on a computer, when you hit Control-Alt-Delete, you can just basically restart your unit and you're back to zero. There's even a button there that says Restore Factory Defaults. So if you messed it up, it's never really messed up. So don't be afraid to push buttons, guys.
No, but the one thing you might do is erase your waypoints, and that's what most of us don't want to do.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to do. You have to do a hard reset to do that. So it's pretty hard to do. And, that's another thing, like waypoint management. You can save by lake, save by region, and erase them as you go and keep them all on a chip if you want. And everybody should do a backup, and it's super easy to do. You just throw the SD card in there, you back them up. Software updates are all done wirelessly. If you've got Wi-Fi in your garage or you're close to your Wi-Fi in the house, you don't even have to download it on the card anymore. It just tells you when there's a software update.
That's actually just what I was going to ask next, was about the updates and all that sort of stuff. So back it in your garage. I wish my garage looked like the one you're sitting in, but back it in your garage, connect to your Wi-Fi, and push the button and get ready to go for your next trip.
Yep.
So
for sure. We try to make it simple. We made a lot of things. We've changed our interfaces so that everything is one touch away. People that were afraid of touchscreens, well, I could never go back to a push button screen personally. It's so easy to use a touchscreen. You're never more than 2 touches to be back on plane and go into your next spot. But the beauty of it is it's like a computer. When you look at a Lowrance unit, you can go in there and you can change every setting under the sun in there if you like, and you can change your frequencies and your intensity and your scroll speed and all that kind of stuff. But you can just hit that auto button, and it's going to do an excellent job for you as well. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. That's why I say it's pretty hard to mess it up by pushing buttons.
Mark, do you think that's a mistake a lot of guys make? Let's face it. Most of us are not programmers. We're not Sonar experts, and we go playing with our settings thinking, I'm going to make this better. Should maybe 99% of the time we just push that auto button and let the unit do what it was designed to do?
Yeah, and on our units, auto is awesome because you can be in auto mode and you can still go in and change the frequency. And as long as you're in auto mode, you'll see an A beside it. So you're not going to mess it up, but you can go in and make minute changes. So let's say you want to change your scroll speed, for an example, or you want to change the intensity of your ping speed. You can go in there and you can change that, and it's just a scroll button, and you just go up, A+3, A+6, and you look at your screen, and if you like that, you leave it. If you don't, you bring it back down. You can't really mess it up. If you do go in there and you start going crazy and changing all kinds of stuff, like I said, you can always hit that Restore Factory Defaults, and you're back to where you were. You're never going to really mess it up. Just remember that you can bring it back to where it was before you started.
Always do those resets for factory defaults. Excuse me. I guess it comes down to, you mentioned something that's kind of got me intrigued, because I know, myself personally, I've had my own confidence issues. Matt has said he's not really familiar with a lot to do with electronics. So you mentioned a series of videos. What have you got, as far as helping people get more confidence in their electronics so they can actually make the most out of their investment?
Yeah, well, this new series, I sent some of the links. I wouldn't dare try to ramble off the YouTube link for it, but it's called New to Fishing series. So, basically there's some videos that just get you started for the guys that are just starting out with either our units or just starting out getting fishing. That's going to help you a lot. But if you get more in depth, like I said, our YouTube videos with Jacob Scott are awesome, because if you're having a particular issue, let's say, for an example, you're trying to decide what frequency to use, or your transducer location, or you want to set up 2 units and link them through the network, all that kind of stuff is all on video, and he shows you step by step how to do it. So video, picture's worth 1,000 words, but I mean, in this industry, it's super nice. It's a lot better than sitting on a phone, having a tech guy, explain it to you, which is awesome when you are in a pickle. But most of this stuff you can do on your own. And with these videos, you can definitely do it on your own.
Perfect. That's the key, because most of us are pretty stubborn. You can always check out more information at www.lowrance.com. I assume somewhere on there's probably the link to these videos as well.
Yeah, there's links to those videos. There's also a lot of, it's called the knowledge base. So a lot of the frequently asked questions are on that website. We've created a knowledge base from that. So most of the reoccurring questions, a lot of those answers are there, as far as how do you set up your transducer, what frequency should I be running for deep, all those usual everyday questions you can find on the website as well. And you can look at the units, look at the models. It gives you great suggestions on what's best for you and for your usage. And that's where you go as well when you want to do your software updates, when you want to get manuals, everything is there. It's all on the website.
I guess, is there a list of dealers on that website so people can come find
There is.
where to? So the Canadian dealers
Absolutely.
are listed on the website?
Yes. You just enter your zip code or your postal code, and it's going to find all the dealers in your area. And it, just like on Google Maps, you'll see all the little orange bubbles, and it'll tell you, you just tap it and it tells you what dealer it is, phone number, website, everything you need to know as far as finding it.
You got a few, I'll say, not, I don't want to say main, I don't want to make it sound like any one dealer is more important than another, but a few that stick out in your mind here on the East Coast that you can send some viewers their way?
Yes. We're building on the East Coast, and we've in Halifax, we've got Binnacle, we've got Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's going on. We're working on trying to expand that network of dealers. We've got Phil's Auto right now. We want to expand that list right now. Unfortunately, COVID's make it tough, especially with the bubble. We weren't able to come. I can't get my butt down there, and I miss going to eat my lobster. But it's coming back. I think we're going to be traveling soon. We're going to be able to start expanding more and more as far as our dealer network goes, and hopefully guys through here and shows like you have are going to show more interest for it, and that's what we want to do. I mean, Simrad and B&G are other divisions of Navico. Simrad is the big saltwater and commercial and big pleasure vessels, and B&G is the sailing world. We're already pretty big in the Maritimes for that side, but Lowrance, you guys, and now that shows like you are doing right now are awesome, because it's multi-species, and it's not your traditional salmon and trout, and so we're starting to touch where Lowrance can help guys fish these new species that haven't been fished, I guess, for a while. I mean, I heard bass has been around for 130 years, smallmouth bass, but just starting to be popular now. So Lowrance is good for that.
It's definitely gaining speed, and I'm gonna tell you what, Mark, we're gonna set you up with a different East Coast delicacy when you do get a chance to travel down here. You don't have to worry about the lobster. The man on the other side of that screen, Mr. Matt Zito, is going to cook you up chain pickerel tacos.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Absolutely.
Can't wait.
This man makes
it should be easy to get into them with those units. Shouldn't be hard to find pickerel with those units there. I tell you.
No, it really isn't.
We'll have fish tacos for days running one of them.
Yeah. when I started using Active Target, you know, I was focusing on walleye around here, and I could see them swimming everywhere, and I was getting all these short bites, and I'm like, come on, guys, and everything. Turns out it's because they were only about 6 inches long. I was into a school of juveniles, but on the screen, if I can see that, you can just imagine, like, you know, we did a pike tournament here recently, 10-pound pike. I saw the shadow move by, and I'm like, yeah, that image is kind of weird. I looked down into the rocks. That was the shadow of the pike. The pike was a little bit closer. And so I mean,
read the shadow.
Wow. It's game changer. You see, definitely, you see the shadows because, you know, your transducer is shooting, then it sees the fish, and in the background, you see the shadow of that fish. It's the same with our structure scan. If you're on site imaging, for an example, and you see, you know, rocks and trees and stuff, you see the shadows behind them. It's really awesome.
That's incredible.
Well, I know we've got a couple quick viewer questions. I know we're getting a little down on time. What does Lowrance offer for sonar over any other sonar companies? Damon, thank you for joining us. You've been pretty active in the questions tonight.
You know, yeah, I mean, so over other companies, I'm going to say, you know, definitely the Ghost is a game changer. I know there's a few brushless motors out there, but the way we integrate our systems is pretty awesome. It's a complete package. Everything talks to each other. The big thing about it, the Elite FS, is offering a feature-packed unit for that price point. That's tough to beat. I mean, some of our others are out there and the prices are higher than that, and they don't even have touch screens. So, you know, we've got a lot of features in Elite FS, and I think that's a big game changer for people. So that's another thing that we offer. But really, it's just having that total fishing package. I mean, I could go on about a lot of technical stuff, but I mean, in a nutshell, that's what it is. It's having all of these new product releases, but that they all are linked somehow and talk to each other. And, you know, it's pretty awesome. And, you know, if you think about it, if a guy has an HDS live on his boat and he wants a second unit because he wants to do charts and stuff, he can now network with an Elite FS, and he just saved a ton of money. So it's doing things like that, trying to make it easier for the guys out there to not have to spend a fortune and get really good technology. So I would say that's what it would be. Hope that answers your question.
I think that'll cover it. Is there Lowrance ice fishing bundles with this same technology?
Yeah, so that's some of the new stuff that's coming. We've always had ice fishing units and things like that, but we've got a really big ice program coming, mind-blowing ice program coming for this season, and definitely it's going to be geared around Active Target. We already have live sight transducer mounts that you could put in the hole and get live sonar, but you can do it with Active Target as well. There's going to be, you know, some systems that will all integrate this together. There's probably even going to be carrying options other than just a bag. Maybe we're looking at a pack sack. It's a lot of stuff that I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. So, you know, a lot of this stuff hasn't been released yet, and we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but definitely there's, in the ice world, there's going to be big changes this season. There's going to be some awesome stuff. And yes, to answer the question, it will revolve around this technology. Absolutely.
That sounds fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
That sounds pretty fun.
That sounds like it may even take someone who's not a big ice fishing guy like me and convince him to go ice fishing.
Sounds like another date we've got to do.
Yeah, it sounds like
one on the ice.
Yeah. Yep, sounds like another excuse for you to take a trip down. I'm good at coming up with those excuses, Mark. So, I know we've got to wrap up here in the next couple minutes, but if you were coming to the Maritimes, I hope we didn't just lose Mark. I hope that was just a button push. If we can get him back up on the screen. No, apparently we lost him. So hopefully we can get him back. You know, I really don't want to close without thanking him again. And Matt, I guess what's got you scratching your head the most?
Everything. Everything. All of it. No, I'm just like blown away by the whole like Active Target. Like it's like
We're
I've
just
said
having-
many times, like I just can't believe how far the technology has come. You know, we're now using like this basically the same tech, like Mark said, that you would go to those baby imaging places. You know, I did that with my daughters when Janelle was pregnant, and now it's like, wow, they're like incorporated into a fish. It's just amazing. It's amazing. You know, it's like the fish don't stand a chance now. Like I can
They
only
still
imagine
get
what
us, though.
will come out in a couple of years. Oh yeah, they're fish. I mean, at the end of the day, you can see them and all that stuff. I mean, we've all been there as fishermen. Like you can see them. You're doing it. Just if they don't want to eat it, they're not going to, and that's
for sure.
that. You can do all you can to catch them. Maybe you'll get a few, but at the end of the day, you're at the mercy of the fish. You can do everything you can. You can be right on top of them, but it's ultimately it's them who's going to decide to take your bait or hook or whatever fly. So
Yep. And that's when you dig in really deep for all your anecdotal comments, like, it's better than a good day at work. It's fishing and not catching. And all that.
That's when you take the obligatory sunset picture and say, "Oh, it was a great day on the water."
On the water, it was awesome. We took in a lot of fresh air and spent good time with our kids and our friends, and that's what it's all about, right?
But I saw one comment pop up on the screen here a couple minutes ago. Claudine makes her want to try. It makes me want to try a fish finder. Yes. There it is there. So apparently we're inspiring someone to maybe try some new technology. And I see Nate cracking a joke about, this technology doesn't even exist. He's a member of the Canadian Navy. So, I think you maybe should be looking at some government contracts, Mark.
We already have a lot of those going on. So I don't know what branch he's in, but
maybe
we do have a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, definitely.
So
this is good stuff. No, but really, I get where he's coming from. It is a lot of technology just for a small fishing world, right?
Yeah, well,
but that's what customers want.
Let's face it, us folks in the fishing world are a little bit fanatical sometimes. No. And, shiny lures catch more. No, not at all. Shiny lures catch more fishermen than they do fish.
Yeah, for sure. It's like when you're fishing a frog on top water. I mean, they put out all these beautiful patterns and everything. The fish only see a white belly, a yellow belly, or a black belly, right? The rest is for us.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like I said, I know we've got to wrap up. I did see Damon asking, is Lowrance just sonar and trolling motors? I know there's other divisions to the company. The Lowrance itself from the fishing side, that's the main focus, is it not?
That's the main thing. We're looking, we're sonar and we're trolling motors, and we're sticking to what we're good at. Basically, we try not to venture out into other worlds too much. We want to try to put our best effort into this, and I think so far we're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, I as much as I know we could babble all night long and pick your brain and come up with more excuses for you to come down.
Absolutely.
I do want to ask you one more question.
Sure.
And this is for you on a personal more so than a professional level.
Okay.
Coming to the Maritimes, what would you most be looking forward to coming to the East Coast to fish?
For me, it's got to be striper. Absolutely. We can do trout and salmon here. We can do muskie here. Saying, Franny has 57-inch muskie. We can do that here. But striper, our stripers are just starting to make a comeback, and they're small. And the big striper and Miramichi and all that kind of stuff. It's just that would be it for me, definitely.
Well, let's be clear though. You're probably going to have to make two stops because Miramichi, that's your numbers fishery. That's not your trophy fishery.
Right. That's true.
Then you're going to have to take a venture down, but you're going to want to leave that pretty boat sitting on the trailer because you do not want to put it in the mud of the Stewiacke.
Okay.
No.
But then you're looking at a 40. What 40 inch is pretty common, Matt?
Ooh, yeah, that would be it.
We may have got one close this year. We got a couple 38s that were close. I don't think we put a 40 in the boat yet this year, but there was a 43 caught in the boat next to me. So they're there. They're there for sure. I didn't land one yet this year, but we were close a couple times. Multiple 38s.
Wow.
So, that's about – actually, no, we did get one. We got one the other night. We didn't measure it, but I'm pretty sure it was 40. It was a big fish. It was a big fish.
It's
that'd be a
pounds.
good trade-off, Matt. I mean, I can come down, show you guys how all this stuff works, and you can take me where those 40 inchers live.
Deal. No problem.
Marc Alain, thank you so much, my friend. It's been a pleasure having you on tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be afraid to reach out if you have any more questions about Sonar, about Lowrance. Check out their website. If you want, reach out to us. We can always reach out to Marc and get questions answered that are a little more regionally specific. If you have a question about mapping on certain lakes through through Lowrance products or whatever the case may be, we'll do our best to play the middleman and make sure you folks get the answers you need. And Marc, once again, thank you for blowing our minds and emptying Matt's bank account.
Yeah, I hope so, Matt. But thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. And listen, you're bang on with that, Don. Any guys have questions, reach out to you, and you can reach me. You know how quick it is for us to hook up, and I'm more than glad to help out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, my friend. Once again, folks, Marc Alain, I'm not going to try his title because it was pretty long, from Lowrance Canada, the man who's looking after all your Lowrance needs here on the East Coast.
Yes, sir, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Marc.
Thank you, Marc.
Bye-bye.
Matt, you might want to, hide the do not let your wife see this video and just start sneaking a trip out every now and then and buying it. And, forgiveness, not permission type situation.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be, as soon as the show ends, I'm going to be on Bass Pro and everywhere looking at these units because, I had no idea about this active target thing. That looks amazing. I'm definitely interested in the hook reveal because I was kind of, like I had mentioned before, I was kind of interested in the side imaging unit anyway for the Stewiacke would really help out. So, I'm just worried. I'm just thinking okay, well, maybe if I don't spend so much money on this for a couple months and then try to budget myself right now.
I would say, Matt, at least while you're in for the research stage in particular, give the guys at the Binnacle a call. You're right there in HRM, and I've dealt with.
I know exactly where that is.
Yeah, I've dealt with them on some stuff in the past, and great, knowledgeable guys, and definitely know their Lowrance products. So, wow, another episode just flies by as always.
Yeah.
And, we could ramble on for another hour and whatever it's been, hour and almost 10 minutes now, I guess. But instead of rambling on for another hour, we're going to say goodnight to our fine friends sitting at home. And we're going to be back in 2 weeks. We got a couple things we're working on. Don't think we've forgotten about our special guest that been trying to get on. He's still busy. But he will be along soon. We're not sure how soon, but he will be along. And we have, the Striper Cup final results are coming out this weekend. Lots of big stuff going on in the fishing world here on the East Coast. And with every day goes past, we're getting closer to that Atlantic bubble starting to reopen and starting to spread our wings a little bit and, get out and explore more than just our own backyard, but the entire region. So, Matt, unless you've got a top secret coded message for someone to go order you a Lowrance product right now. Until next time, my friend, thank you once again for being here.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, Donnie. Glad to be back. I missed last week. I was bummed out, but I just I couldn't do it, man. I just couldn't do it.
No, totally.
I wanted to so bad, but I had to pull the plug. I didn't want everyone to see how gross I was doing, so I had to pull the plug. All
good, man. That's going to happen from time to time, and next time I'll just bail on you and let you take the whole show.
It's only fair.
We'll try not to do it. I enjoy doing this too much. So once again, Matt, thank you again. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen at home, thank you all. We'll see you again in 2 weeks' time back here for episode 21 of Fish East Live. Until then, on behalf of Matt Zito, I'm Don Patterson. Fish on and fish east.
Seeing the fish, their position, and how they respond in real time. That's game changing.